In 1994, the first ever Elder Scrolls game called The Elder Scrolls Arena was released. The Elder Scrolls Arena was considered groundbreaking for its time, featuring a smoothly scrolling first-person 3D perspective game with light and shadow effects, fog, and reflections. However, it is primitive by modern standards, consisting of blocky 3D environments and 2D sprites for characters and objects, with no ability to look up or down. Only 2 years after, in 1996, it was followed up by The Elder Scrolls II: Daggerfall, which was groundbreaking for its depth of player freedom, with a detailed character creator and the use of a new 3D engine that allowed for a more realistic and immersive experience, with features like a fully textured world, weather effects, and custom spell creation. 6 years after the release of Daggerfall in 2002, the big success that was The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind was released. Morrowind had a huge upgrade with full 3D graphics, which was a big improvement over Daggerfall's now dated graphics. It was the best-selling RPG for the original Xbox in 2002 and a top 10 seller for the console a year later, helping to save Bethesda from bankruptcy and allowing the company to continue developing games. And then, 4 years after the release of Morrowind, the iconic game known as The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion was officially released. Oblivion, compared to Morrowind, also shifted to more accessible gameplay, a new visual engine, and had a much more effective quest design and combat system. Oblivion received universal acclaim and was seen as a turning point for the Western RPG genre, making it more accessible to a wider audience. It was also released at an opportune time for the Xbox 360, which helped to establish said console as a major player in the market. Then, 5 years after the release of Oblivion, in 2011, the behemoth known as The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim was released. Skyrim had an absolutely massive both critical and commercial success and was loved for the huge open world, visuals, and character progression. Skyrim quickly established itself as an iconic and long-lasting game with so many different ways to play the game, now 8 major quest lines, 3 DLCs, and 2 official remasters. Skyrim has become one of the most revolutionary and loved games ever, still laying on tens of thousands of concurrent players on the Steam charts. But that was 14 years ago. Now today I wanted to answer the question so many fans of The Elder Scrolls might be asking. Where is The Elder Scrolls 6? Today I will go through all the public information that I could find, and I will tell you everything we know so far about The Elder Scrolls 6. I hope you enjoy. 7 years after the release of Skyrim, Bethesda released the first and only announcement teaser for The Elder Scrolls 6, but that was 7 years ago now, which means about the same time passed since the release of Skyrim to when this teaser released, as from when the teaser came out until now. Either way, this is all that was revealed. We do not know much about the game at all yet, so I will say there are not a lot of actual confirmed details about the game so far, but one of the things that we do know for sure is that popular YouTuber Skyrim Grandma Shirley Curry will appear as an NPC in the game. Fans had petitioned to include the loved YouTuber in the next installment of the Elder Scrolls series, and it is now official. This means a lot to me, because I would be extremely happy to know that somebody else was playing with my character in a future Elder Scrolls game, she said in her Elder Scrolls 25th anniversary video. And Skyrim Grandma will not be the only player joining the game as an NPC, as in February 2025, Bethesda offered players an opportunity to add themselves into the game through an auction supporting the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The winner of the auction won with an $85,000 pledge, but so far this bidder is anonymous. Now let's talk about the release. The Elder Scrolls 6 has no release date yet, but it has been revealed that it will launch at the very earliest in 2026, but most likely even later according to the Microsoft/FTC case documents. From what we know so far, as Starfield is past launch, the Elder Scrolls 6 should be the next game on Bethesda's to-do list. Back in 2022, Todd Howard, the game director and executive producer in Bethesda, said that the game was moving into pre-production, and then in 2023, Pete Hines, the former head of publishing from Bethesda, confirmed that it was officially being moved into development. Todd Howard was also asked if he regretted announcing the Elder Scrolls 6 so early, and he responded with, "I don't know, I probably would have announced it more casually," referring to the big announcement teaser. Since 2023, we have not heard much news about the release of the Elder Scrolls 6, so let's hope we get some more news soon, maybe at the Game Awards this year. Now let's get down to the gameplay. According to an interview Todd Howard had with The Telegraph, we know that the Elder Scrolls 6 will run on the same creation engine as Starfield called the Creation Engine 2, which was built for both of these games. Todd also explained every game will have some new suits of technology, so Elder Scrolls 6 will have some additions onto Creation Engine 2 that game is going to require. Howard referred to a major engine rewrite for Starfield, which the Elder Scrolls 6 will definitely benefit from. Todd Howard in another interview talked about the long wait for Elder Scrolls 6 by saying, "We want them out too, and I wish they didn't take as long as they did, but they do. If I could go back in time, it would have never been my plan to wait as long as it's taken." He also explained how he has spent more time in the Elder Scrolls space than any other. He explained that they are planning on putting in the work to give Elder Scrolls 6 a similar lifespan as its predecessor Skyrim. He explained, "You have to think about, okay, people are going to play the next Elder Scrolls game for a decade, 2 decades, and that does change the way you think about how you architect it from the get-go." Mods. In the same interview as I just talked about, Todd also confirmed for all the modders out there that yes, the Elder Scrolls 6 will also be designed with good mod support. This is great news for all the Skyrim modders out there, as I believe that Skyrim modders are some of the most talented modders out there. Just look at this. So, what else do we know about the game? Well, we know it probably won't have the quote-unquote weird stuff like in Morrowind, as Skyrim's co-lead and Morrowind's torchbearer Kurt Coleman said Todd in particular gravitates not towards the weird stuff, like what the province of Cyrodiil was described as before Oblivion. He also said, especially now you've got Microsoft, it's got to be one of their big things. I would be skeptical that they could do a game in Elsewhere or Black Marsh. And this brings us on to our setting. Fans have been trying to find clues where this game could be set, starting with the original announcement teaser. Todd Howard has said that clues do indeed exist, saying that the teaser does contain hints at where it's set. Howard also confirmed that the location has indeed already been decided and that the decision was not made recently. Some of the locations that have been theorized so far are High Rock, which is the most popular and most likely theory so far, Hammerfell, which was theorized from this New Year's post, where people thought the lights could maybe be a hint, as the area in the bottom left with a light is called Hammerfell. Lastly, we have Elsewhere, Black Marsh, or Valenwood, but these, especially the last two, are pretty unlikely from what I've seen. This could also be a stretch, but people found this Redguard looking aesthetic on a Bethesda employee's Pinterest, and if you didn't know, the Redguard in Elder Scrolls are from Hammerfell. According to all the sources I could find, their Pinterest had more sci-fi weapons, creatures, and environments, probably for Starfield, and it has now moved over to fantasy instead, so a lot of people are theorizing that this could be for the Elder Scrolls 6. Exclusivity. Will The Elder Scrolls 6 be an Xbox exclusive? Well, not long ago, the idea of Bethesda games releasing on other consoles than PC and Xbox were pretty much just shot down. But that was now 4 years ago. And now, Bethesda games like Indiana Jones or Doom the Dark Ages released on PS5, and even the Oblivion remaster came to PS5. So my personal guess is that The Elder Scrolls 6 will also be coming to PS5. I think it would at least make sense if they want the game to have a similar run to Skyrim. Development. We know that the game does have early playable builds, thanks to a post Bethesda made celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Elder Scrolls series, where they said, "Returning to Tamriel and playing early builds has filled us with the same joy, excitement, and promise of adventure." I know this isn't massive news, but knowing the game is playable makes me very excited, at least. During his interview with Lex Fridman in 2022, Todd Howard also says that they have worked out the beginning and first few hours of the game already, which they knew for a very long time. They also worked out the character creation system, the big ticket feature like Oblivion Gates or Dragons. He spoke about the skill system and that they are actively working on the music of the game. And this is 3 years ago, keep in mind. In this same interview, Howard also said that The Elder Scrolls 6 will have more dynamic and immersive factions. Here's the clip.
Take like a faction in the world. What is their role in the world? As opposed to just their role is for the player to join it, go through a bunch of quests and become the head of the faction. You know, think a little bit deeper about the simulation and what would the Mages Guild be doing in a fantasy world? Or the Fighters Guild be doing in a fantasy world versus just sign up, do quests, get gold.
And in an interview Todd Howard had with Mr. Matty Place in 2024, Howard said that we are working hard on it. One day we'll have it for everybody. Obviously, it isn't actually a development update, but it is about as close as we have gotten in the last years. So if there was anything that I missed in this video, be sure to let me know in the comments, but that was all I had for today. I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button, like the video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and have a great day or evening or night or morning or whatever you're having. Just have a good one.